Today on the Euro Truck Podcast, you can now fly in Draenor, Surge is back in some stores, Guild Wars 2 is now free, and Fallout 4 has a ton of speech. Hello and welcome to the Euro Truck Podcast with I, Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
And Goober Shadow.
Goober.
Well, it's been a few weeks without Uber Shadow here. He was busy last week. He had played a very wonderful game of League of Legends. Unfortunately, when we ended up doing the podcast, but
Can we just start off at the top of the news by saying goober is a funny word?
Goober is a funny word. It is indeed.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Speaking of dig, does anybody actually still use dig anymore?
I cannot tell you the last time I used dig.
I think I used dig back in like 09. Not even 09. It would have been like 07 when I last used dig.
There was a time that they tried making an RSS aggregate, like the Google Reader or Feedly. They tried being one of those alternatives back when Google Reader closed.
Oh yeah.
And I made an account, but then found a better one. So
That's right. You use the old reader, right?
I do use the old Reader because it's the closest thing to what Google Reader actually was at the time. So
Gotcha. See, I switched over to Feedly, and I'm actually very content with Feedly.
yeah, you know,
Good app integration, good keyboard shortcuts. It was a nice replacement. It was more of
yeah.
an
I mean, I wish that
road
it did.
work.
I wish that the old Reader had a good app,
Mm.
but most of the time I don't actually look at reading things from my RSS feed mobilely. So I'm usually only doing it, reading things when I'm sitting on my computer.
Gotcha. See, because I'm at school, so like oftentimes it'd be like, hey, I have like 20 minutes. Let's see what's going on in the news.
Right. Flip through things. Yeah. Whereas I'll just maybe in the future that will be a need of mine. But at the moment, I have plenty of time to sit at my computer and just flip through articles.
So then, where do we want to start at the top of all this? There's a lot of news going on this week. I'm off the road.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, there is a decent amount of various topics that have came up this week. Some of them are from last week. We had to record really early last week, so missed a couple things, but we're gonna shove them all in today. So why don't we start down here with some tidbits? These are little bits that aren't necessarily full news topics, but they are stuff we still want to talk about, and maybe move through a little quickly in between some of the bigger news topics. And one of those things is Quakecon 2016 has been confirmed for next year. It's going to be August 4th to the 7th in Dallas, Texas, for those who are not familiar.
It is a year from now. We are talking about QuakeCon, though. We're talking about one of the oldest cons in the gaming community, and so I mean, it's always a good time whenever it rolls around, and all those wonderful gamers down in Texas and not from Texas who just enjoy a good game, enjoy a good old-fashioned LAN party, full of lots of beverage.
Many beverage.
Yeah, well, especially like back in the 90s when people would have this thing called Surge.
Yeah, that Coca-Cola made. People were like, "No, why'd you stop selling that? We like that drink."
Well, I think a lot of
ruining my childhood.
I think that's due in a large part to like the 20-something and the 30-something getting on the internet and having lists of things you remember back from the 90s that nobody actually remembers until they're reminded of it.
Right.
Like one of those like,
Except
oh yeah, I remember
my
that.
engine malfunctioned.
No. Why? I'm about to run into you. Oh jeez.
You're in a wood.
I'm in a wood.
There's a lot of things that I don't remember from those lists. Well, that I remembered when prompted on the list, but 3D Doritos still need to come back.
Yes. Yeah. We've already had the French Toast Crunch. We've already had the Surge.
Yep.
Come on,
and
read it. Come on.
Surge has actually been available, maybe depending on whether... I think we may have talked about this in the past. It's available on Amazon for the last year-ish. And it was kind of a trial run to see if they could actually sell it and people would actually still buy it. So, and I guess it was enough that people were interested in it enough, and so Coke said, okay, I guess we'll put it in some stores.
Now here's the ultimate question, though. Does it ship Prime?
It ships Prime Pantry, I believe.
Oh.
which is different. So there's a
Yeah.
$5.99 shipping charge for the purchase. But if you buy a bunch of other Prime Pantry things, it all ships for the same cost. So one $5.99 Prime Pantry purchase covers a full box of Prime stuff.
For when you buy your Surge, Airheads, and French Toast Crunch.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that. And if you check our show notes down below in the doobly-doo, there will be a link to a article and a map that'll let you be able to see if your stores near you actually are carrying Surge. So if you're looking to get some, check that before you go to your store looking for it, because it's not across the country yet.
Right. You can grab your Surge and go watch all of those great movie reboots like Terminator and I can't think of any actually movie reboots that have occurred. There was a bunch of them. Oh, Star Wars and things like that. Relive the 90s.
Yeah. But to provide a little bit of update from a topic we've talked about a couple times now, the Twitch plays Dark Souls. Last week we mentioned how exactly they're accomplishing beating bosses, and I wanted to give you an update that they have beat 2 more bosses, the Belfry Gargoyles and the Capra Demon. But they have, in doing so, have died 657 times and have been going for 29 days at this point.
Great, googly moogly.
But they have finished 26 of 44 base achievements, and there's 50 total with the DLC included.
Wow.
While we're talking about things that are occurring, we've discovered that World of Warcraft, and this information came out just at, like, pretty much right before we recorded the podcast, and I just didn't have a chance to collect it. The latest expansion to World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor, received an update this past, I think it was Tuesday. This past Tuesday, September 1st. And that actually brought flying to Warlords, which we talked about several months ago, that that they changed their mind and they were actually gonna bring flying, and it is now available. You do need to get the Pathfinder achievement though to be able to unlock flying mounts, because there's a bunch of things you have to do to be able to qualify for flying mounts. They want to make sure that you've actually explored the map, that you've actually done a lot of the things on the ground, because it's not a big map, but there's a lot of detail that was put into it. And so Blizzard wants to make sure that everyone is seeing all those cool things that they put a lot of time in. Whereas flying, you just kind of soar right over and don't pay attention to anything. So if you haven't already met all of the achievement requirements, go ahead and check that out. Then you just like catapulted yourself really far back when you ran into me.
Yeah, I'm at 100% damage. So yeah, that's gonna look really interesting on the replay.
It was just like it was like a rubber band.
Yeah.
You just went. While we're talking about MMOs,
This news makes me sad.
Guild Wars 2's core game is gonna be free now, and instead of paying for the, was it a subscription model?
It was a pay once model, so the game itself originally cost, I think it was, when I bought it, this is why I'm a little salty, is because I bought it at the original $50, and as a result of it, going free, I actually don't know, because what's worse than that I spent $50 on it is also I didn't really like Guild Wars 2. Like, I wanted it to be this like grand epic adventure, and it just kind of, maybe it was also because I was playing it on my Mac laptop. I should really give it an honest go. I don't know, maybe I'll do like a let's play with it or something, but for now it's one of those things that's like not super high on my radar game wise. Right. So I'm just salty about it because I spent money on it, and other people get to enjoy it for free, and I don't know if that necessarily entitles me to certain perks, but I mean, in the same vein, just another quick little tidbit, WildStar is doing the same thing. Coming on September 29th, their core game model will be free. Yep. So there's that.
But apparently, I guess the way that they're doing it is you'll actually pay for the expansions instead now. So if you go and buy the newest expansion for Guild Wars 2, you buy that to get the new content.
Right.
So.
Right. Which I guess makes sense. Guild Wars 2 is definitely very story driven as an MMO, and it also isn't. It's not as turn clicky. You know, I know that the problem that a lot of the grief that a lot of players take to WoW is I walk up to the thing, and I click it, and then I hit my macro, and I sit back and I watch the fireworks.
That's true. That does happen.
Which for some people that's great because it means you just get the ability to do your task and move on. But I know for some people they really kind of like an immersive combat system. And myself, coming from an action adventure background, I definitely appreciated that out of Guild Wars 2. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't had an opportunity to really pick up much of the MMO world these days. I'm trying to get back into it, but that might be a down the road kind of thing. You know, it's good to go on gaming hiatuses every so often from certain titles and genres, but
yeah, you get burned out. Yep, always good
definitely
to play something else every once in a while. Which, speaking of playing something else for a little while, which will be a thing coming up in November, Fallout 4. Still coming out in November at this point. No information has come out that it is being delayed, so that is good news. But they have said, from a development standpoint, that they finished all of the dialogue recordings. And in talking about the fact that they finished all the dialogue, we've discovered that it's got 111,000 lines of speech.
Oh
Yummy.
my!
Which is more than Fallout 4 and Skyrim's all of their voice acting combined.
That's kind of ridiculous.
So
Those better be the different options for the different voices, because I want to get 100 speech, and god damn it, I gotta have my 100 speech.
And they also said that part of that is because the main character actually has speaking lines in this game, so
wow.
that contributed to some of the
100 speech.
but if you haven't already pre-ordered Fallout 4, you can go to our show notes and click the link there, which I will also give you now. It's just ghst.in/FO4, and that will get you to the Fallout 4 page at Green Man Gaming, and then use our promo code, which you're going to want to just bring up on the show notes rather than...
Stop!
I ran into a guardrail.
I'm at 44% damage.
I'm at 88% damage.
This isn't...
But yeah, that promo code will get you 20% off, and you'll want to look at in the description down below. It's down there, and it's also in the show notes with the link that you can click on, and that'll get you 20% off the game, which makes it game's $59.99, so it'd be $48 instead of full price. Well, it turns out we've discovered that the Just Cause 2 multiplayer has been updated and is actually in public beta now for a whole slew of new things. This is a mod that hasn't been updated in about a year plus, I believe. It was last August that they updated it. And it brings Steam achievements, a whole bunch of stuff for scripting, including client-side NPCs. All the civilian models are available. You can now render inside the world, as well as more Unicode support for languages, which is really cool from the scripting side. Brand new main menu, easier to find your favorite servers, improved sync to vehicles and weapons, which if you've ever played the multiplayer mod of any kind, whether of the Just Cause or even the Euro Truck variety, you know that game sync among players is really important, because that can be the difference between someone plowing into you and not plowing into you.
Good point.
So that is coming soon. It is in public beta now. You don't have to sign up for anything, just have to switch it in your Steam, and you can the information for that will be in the description show notes. So
One last little bit of news, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of a lighter side of things.
Yep.
All those who love GTA 5 can now play Mario Kart. Yeah, totally saw that one coming. It combines, believe it or not, get this, it combines the Mario and kart mods. I know this is some revolutionary stuff we're dealing with here. These expert coders have completely shifted the game. I would say it almost completely remakes GTA 5.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know what I've done in GTA 5 without this mod the whole time. But hope you enjoyed this episode of the Euro Truck Podcast. That's all our news for today. If you would like, we would greatly appreciate if you hit that like button down below, and you can hit the subscribe button over there. You can also comment in the box underneath the doobly-doo. And something new that we have is the GI audio podcast, which is the same thing you're watching now, but in audio form on iTunes. So you can get that down below also, and you can subscribe to it on your phone, and then just get your Ghosting podcast fix delivered right to you. And of course, you can always find us right here in good old video form. But for now, we'll see you next week.